Well, here we are. We are starting the album, and there's no better way to start the album than fire up a machine that's been with me for a long time. Since I remember being in Canada and getting my hands on a JX3P with a PG200, using it on majority of my records, on Sonic Mine, on Black Nation, on Soleil, on Sine Wave, and then going through a difficult moment because one of the gigs in Poland, the PG200 was stolen. Then I sold the keyboard. I just couldn't find my way around without the controller that is very important, integral part of this machine. And then recently coming across and buying this synth again in Scotland, which was probably, it was just meant to happen because it arrived at a perfect moment. Revisiting this machine again with a whole new energy. So I'm going to start the album with, first of all, with showing you the kind of sounds that I've been making with this machine. And we will start with just the synth line going through a Mackie. I'm sure you recognize this. End-to-End Records. A classic Echoplex sound. The way I used to use this machine was triggering with either a 909 or 808 or any other machine, sending a clock in, just tweaking the parameters and writing the sequence. That's polyphonic, by the way, on this beautiful sequencer here. However, this time I'm going to do things differently because I want to really experiment with this machine. Just so you know, we have Ableton recording. So Ableton is kind of like a DAT recorder for me in this situation. Oh yeah. What you're hearing is that there's a Curtis filter inside this JX3P, which is also used on synths like the Jupiter 8. So you can imagine the quality of that sound that you're able to produce. A very simple, we're going to use one chord and we're going to hold, and I'll show you what we can do with that. We're going to transpose this. can go all night, as you can imagine. It's just, this is the magic of this machine. The music just comes alive on its own by holding a simple chord with a key transpose, using an effect which is almost like a harmonizer effect, and making lush, beautiful sound of a polyphonic synth. So let's try come up with a different sound. So I'm just playing with the envelope a little bit just to get a bit more catchy kind of rhythmic sequence. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to try to use a delay. That's pretty nice. But maybe something less reverberated. This is a tempo delay, actually. It's to 133 BPMs. So it could be interesting when we are going to play with the rate of the sequence, because the way it works right now, there's no sequence trigger inside driving it. Now this goes on an internal clock. I'm gonna start recording this just right now, and this time we're gonna use the sequencer. So we're gonna press right on the synth and just gonna write some chords, and I'm gonna skip some notes and do some rests just to get a bit more in depth. So here we go. Oh, that sounds like Divisible of the Pacu. Remember that? But that was used with the Space Echo before. Let's see how that sounds, just basic. I'm gonna put the rate down, so that's gonna be our tempo in a way. So you see that? That's basically a quite slow, kind of dubby. Here's the important bit. Once you really start to get a nice sound, we can now actually save the sound. I'm going to press right, and I'm going to put it into a memory bank C1. So basically, right now that sound is stored. Let's go back into that sequence, shall we? Well, guess what? I've just killed the sequence. It's not there anymore. That's pretty amazing, right? Haven't really lost it because I got it recorded into Ableton. So thank God we got that sequence. But okay, we're trying to make something better out of it. Oh, don't you just love these sounds? They're amazing. But I think I know more or less what I've done with this, so I'm just gonna recreate that sequence once again. Speed this up a bit. Let's put this dry completely. Anyways, no drums, relax. What's the cool thing? We can transpose it. Mr. Robert Hood. How do you make your tracks, right? With all due respect, Robert Hood, great inspiration. I'm not saying this is simple shit. This takes a lot of skills to do. And most importantly, all you gotta do is just think outside of the box. See, you do things that are different. You don't just go click, 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 and then boom, boom, boom. No. Some effects. Play around with these effects a bit. You can also switch the presets and play around. Chance McDermott, do you remember that? Right, I'm gonna go into like a bass line now and see if I can create something that could go with this. Now, there you go. Straight off the bat, you get some nice bass sound. See, what's good about when you're using the sequencer, you don't have to go all across 16 steps. Where power comes into the sequencer is that you could use a 909 or anything else like a trigger or even a Circlone that some of the guys are doing now. Then you can set up the trigger timing inside that machine and decide quarter notes, 16 notes, etc. Here, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do a bit of off kind of bass line because I think it could be interesting. It's not going to be straight up, so I'm not going to go across the 16 steps. I might stop at 7. So we're just going to put some notes here. You know, you can create a very interesting kind of this time we're going to try with the Eventide. Now I like the Eventide because for those of you who heard LL Searching and Going record that I've done for Pacu's label, Linear Logic, Lars Lewandowski's label, this kind of dirty reverb from the Eventide reminds me of the old hardware that I used to have, some old GSP Digitech, really dirty guitar effects. Let's mess up with the timing as well. That's gonna be cool. Let's record this one. Again, I don't care about the timing for now. I can do that later. Now it's all about freedom of expression and just feeling. It's almost like it's like a bit jazzy, let's say, walking bass, kind of contrabass. And it's because of that timing, so we're gonna mess up this timing even more. Try a different effect. This time we're gonna go for get really ravey with this, by the way. But that's not the point here. Let's get a nice and subby and triangle wave. And we're gonna run Yamaha, a very nice digital reverberator to create a nice verb. Trying to transpose this time. Gonna have to stop this guy. Hope you guys enjoy my little noodlings. In the next video, we're gonna select some really cool ideas and we're gonna start to putting them into some kind of order. So you will see how I look for that gold in those sounds, because we have a lot of stuff, but maybe one or two ideas are very strong already in there that we can play around with, and that would be our goal for the next session. JX3P, guys. It's a piece of a history when it comes to Detroit techno. There's only few people in this world who will share what this machine can do, because those people that recorded a lot of music with it wouldn't like you to know what this machine can do. What I've just showed you is just tip of the iceberg. Once we get deeper into making this music and this album, you will hear that the JX3P is really the Echoplex machine. I'm going to show you guys everything I know about techno music. If you want to hear me again, make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys. Echoplex.